critical reasoning question. We'll quickly read the short passage and try to answer the question. Central banks are furiously buying gold again. In the third quarter alone, 400 tons moved into their reserves. In part, this is because gold, snubbed in good times because it generates no yield, recovers its shine in terms of volatility and high inflation. In the long run, it is seen as a store of value and not tied to any individual economy, seems immune to local political and financial turmoil. Central bankers may also think they're getting a bargain. Even though it has resisted better than most, the price of metal has dropped 3% this year. First paragraph is saying central banks are buying gold again. In good times, when the economy is doing well, gold is not preferred. Gold is snubbed because gold is just a lump sitting in a locker, right? It doesn't have any, it doesn't flow, it's not unlike currency, it doesn't move. Therefore, it doesn't get any yield. You don't get any returns. You loan it and get returns on it, you don't get it. So in good times, it's seen as it's snubbed. But it recovers its shine. See, it's a metal, so it recovers its shine during when do people fall back on gold? During times of volatility and high inflation. In the long run, gold is seen as a store of value. Why? It currency, when you're talking of money, when you're talking of currency, when you are tied with the dollar, right? Gold is not tied to any individual economy. It's immune, it seems immune to political and financial turmoil. It kind of holds steady in any situation. And central banks at this point are also thinking, we're getting a good deal and buying more gold because gold has resisted any drop in prices, but still it has fallen 3% this year. Buying gold bars is also a way to ditch some dollars. As the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates, buying yields, the value of government paper has dropped. Lesser central banks have taken this as a cue to swap them for precious metal rather than bet on the Fed taming inflation. Fed is facing inflation, so it has raised interest rates. So what are lesser central banks doing? The weaker ones, they prefer buying gold to paper. Paper can be government bonds, right? Gold provides a way to circumvent Western sanctions in Russia. Western sanctions are there for trade against Russia. Gold is a way to bypass it. You're not using international currency, you're trading in gold. So that's a way to circumvent the Western sanctions on Russia. Which of the following statements can be best concluded from the passage? We know what the passage is saying. Gold, central banks are buying gold again. Inflation and volatility. Gold is a good thing to fall back on during volatility and inflation. Federal Bank has increased interest rates to tackle inflation. So lesser central banks have switched to gold. And another advantage of gold is it's a way to bypass Western sanctions against Russia. The dollar is losing ground to other currencies. Has the author said anything about the dollar losing ground to other currencies? Maybe a little to gold, but not to other currencies. There's been a currency regime change? No. Has he said gold has replaced the dollar? No. Lesser central banks are giving bigger banks a run for their money. Has he said that? They are trying their own ways of buying gold, ditching dollars, but that doesn't mean that they're giving them some kind of huge competition. Central banks are stockpiling gold. True, they're buying gold furiously as it offers a hedge against inflation and a way to circumvent sanctions. Exactly the main point of the passage. The conclusion is a conclusion of the main points. Therefore, answer is D.